New details about the fire intentionally set inside of a Triad Walmart.
And you have got to see this video of the moment the flames nearly reached the ceiling.
You could tell, oh, this is deliberate, because it was the socks that were on fire. That didn't make any sense.
Cold air rushing in right now. This is going to be the coldest that we get, but when do we warm up?
On a cold winter's night, hundreds without power in Kernersville after a tractor trailer crashes into a utility pole. What people in the area are now doing to stay warm.
Plus, we take a look at Greensboro history.
The man who bussed tables at Woolworths in downtown Greensboro takes you inside the sit-ins.
I'm sorry, we don't serve color folks here. We got money to pay. Why can't we be served?
WFMY News 2 at 11 starts right now.
All days for it to go out. I went out today, but we're gonna stay warm, I guess. We're gonna, about 2 or 3 blankets tonight.
A cold night in the Triad, and it's getting even colder. One area won't get the lights or heat back on until the morning.
We'll check in on that impacted area in a moment, but first we've got to talk about conditions going into tomorrow. Tim, it'll be colder than it has been.
Yeah, it will be. Tonight is going to be our peak of our cold spell here, as many of us are waking up to the teens tomorrow morning, similar to how it was last Monday on Martin Luther King Day. Let's take a look at those temperatures right now. I'll be honest with you, I would have thought it would be a little colder than this at this hour, but I still think we're on track for mid-teens across much of the area. 24 right now in Reedsville. Let's take a little bit of a neighborhood view of your temperatures. Looking at Guilford County now, generally in the 20s. Elon, you're sitting at 26. Burlington Airport at 29. Mid-20s as well in Forsyth County. 25 Stokesdale, 23 in Madison, already in 20. In Martinsville, Virginia, we have some low 20s up in the foothill communities and teens up in the mountains right now. You go farther to the south, all of us on track for a pretty darn cold night. Next 12 hours or so, we will be getting down into those teens, generally around 15 or so for the actual air temperature. You factor in that wind, it'll be feeling a little bit closer to 5 to 15 degrees, depending on where you are. Here are my low temperatures for tonight, right around 16 in Greensboro. That's my low temperature for the city. The rest of the folks, generally 10 to 15 or so. Same story for the foothill communities. So my forecast tomorrow morning, 16 degrees. I'll revise that from 14 earlier. I think just a few degrees warmer, but still, it's a cold night of weather. Hold me to that for Thursday. And stick around. This is really not going to last forever. We have a warm up on the way coming up.
This is not the night to be without heat.
WFMY News 2's Tahisha Moyes is live now in Kernersville, where a crash caused hundreds of outages. And Tahisha, it could be a while before the lights come back on.
Yeah, Julie, I spoke to one man who said of all nights for the power to go out, and I want to show you why people are in the dark tonight. If you can look a little closely here where the cherry pickers are, and you can see that a utility pole is down. The driver of a tractor trailer hit it this afternoon, and crews have been working to clean it up ever since. The truck has since been moved. Now, around 4 this afternoon, Kernersville police say the driver was heading down Salisbury Street and tried to make a right turn at the Pineview Drive intersection. Now, in the process, the driver clipped the utility pole, and of course, it's going to be a long night, not only for those working to fix the outage, but also for those in the area without power in their home. We spoke to people, and we spoke to Duke as well, and they say power's not expected to be turned back on until 7 tomorrow morning. Now, I also walked around the campus here in apartment complexes, nearby homes without power. Kernersville police and the fire department actually went door to door to make sure folks were okay and to let them know of nearby shelters for a warm place to rest their heads. First responders are working with the American Red Cross and Forsyth County Emergency Management. And while I walked around the complex, I noticed many in their cars trying to keep warm and charge their cell phones. That's how I met Nick Campbell.
I drove up, and there was a bunch of police, fire departments out here, and I ain't know where that happened until I got in the house and I ain't had no power.
Yeah, not many people taking them up on the offer to go to the shelter, choosing instead to sleep in their own beds. Again, more than 200 people without power tonight. The plan, according to Duke, is to hopefully have all the power restored by 7 tomorrow morning.
Tahisha, thank you. The cold temperatures are delaying several schools tomorrow. Carroll and Patrick County and Danville and Martinsville schools are all delayed 2 hours tomorrow. Stay on top of the dropping temperatures and when we'll see a warm up. The latest radar and the 7-day forecast can be found on WFMYnews2.com and also on our free app.
It is also a frigid night for firefighters who are working to put out a huge fire at a warehouse in Lexington. These are pictures from earlier tonight after the fire started around 5. This is right off Prospect Drive in Lexington. At least 7 departments are working right now to get it under control. Davidson County EMS says it doesn't know whether anyone was inside when the fire started. We're keeping an eye on this and we'll update our web story as soon as we know more.
You need to see this new video of the fire that heavily damaged part of a High Point Walmart on Monday. You can see the flames growing as they burn through racks of socks, nearly reaching the ceiling.
WFMY News 2's Jessica Winters spoke to the man who shot that video and learned more about what's next for the store.
Okay, so not only did Mike Leonard shoot the video of the fire in Walmart that's going viral, I mean, come on, look at this. He helped catch the guy accused of setting it.
High Point 911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I'm at the South Main Walmart in High Point. There's a huge fire in the men's department. We need a fire department here now. We're evacuating the building.
5 frantic 911 calls made in the matter of minutes.
We have a big fire in the Walmart. We're evacuating now.
Mike Leonard was
Just running a personal errand.
Then all of the sudden,
I hear someone yell, "Fire!" And I look, and about 20 feet away from me, there's all this smoke coming out of the men's department.
Leonard says as employees rushed to get fire extinguishers,
The flames were very fast, and it did not take long for that thing to grow.
he took out his cell phone.
So I thought, well, maybe I could document with my cell phone and try and maybe capture the perpetrator.
To Leonard's surprise, he not only caught the fire on video, he helped catch the guy accused of setting it.
One of the workers there tugged me and said, "I think that's the guy." And I said, "Are you sure?" And one of the officers stepped out and I said, they're saying it's that guy. And he wasn't running. He was being kind of clever and just kind of blending in with the crowd, acting like he was leaving too.
Sure enough, right there in the Walmart parking lot, High Point police arrested 26-year-old Daniel Daly.
That officer was very fast.
Daly has been charged with arson and theft.
As soon as I approached it, you could tell, oh, this is deliberate, because it was the socks that were on fire, and that didn't make any sense.
The big question now, when will Walmart reopen? We still don't know. I called Walmart multiple times today. My calls went unanswered. At the store tonight, crews were still hard at work cleaning up. Members of the restoration company were shouting at hopeful customers all night, telling them it's still closed. There was a fire.
The Confederate Monument in downtown Winston-Salem will come down. The question is when. The Daughters of the Confederacy has until tomorrow to move the controversial statue. If they don't do it, the city says it will. Mayor Alan Joines rejected a request by the Daughters of the Confederacy to extend the deadline for 60 days. When the statue could be relocated to Salem Cemetery is unclear, but the mayor says it likely will not happen tomorrow.
Police are looking for 2 people they say shot a man at an Asheboro sports bar. It happened early Sunday morning at Freeway's Sports Bar and Lounge on Zoo Parkway. The victim died at the hospital. Asheboro police plan to charge 16-year-old Camarius Phillips with murder and 29-year-old Deshaun Farish with firing a weapon. Police are still looking for both of them. The bar had to give up its alcohol permit.
Deputies arrest the person responsible for sending a threat to a Triad high school. The Stokes County Sheriff's Office says a juvenile was behind it. They arrested the suspect on Monday after West Stokes High School received an anonymous threat online. Students across the county could not leave their school buildings because of that threat. It's the second time in the last week that Triad schools received a threat. School districts in 5 counties were on high alert last Friday. Deputies later said that threat was not credible.
The Conservator Center in Caswell County is set to reopen. On Facebook, it said it'll start giving tours as early as this weekend. The center closed last month after a lion attacked and killed a 22-year-old intern. Deputies killed the lion after tranquilizers didn't work. The USDA is still investigating the incident.
One day left to raise enough money to save Bennett College's accreditation. Their goal is to raise $5 million by the end of the month. That's tomorrow. Several big donations came in today. Guilford County Schools will give $8,300. True Liant Federal Credit Union pledged $10,000. Wells Fargo donated $50,000 and Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority gave $100,000. In all, the school has raised $3.25 million. So one more day and $1.75 million left to go. We'll keep you posted if they're able to reach that goal. A new report says North Carolina needs to spend millions to raise pay for state prison guards. Right now, prison workers make an average of $37,000 a year. That's about 20% less than the national average. Plus, hundreds of positions are still vacant statewide. Another issue is self-defense. Many officers are only equipped with pepper spray. North Carolina lawmakers are working to propose bills to tackle both issues during the legislative session.
I went on special assignment today, a trip to Charlotte to interview Franklin Graham, Reverend Billy Graham's son, about the approaching anniversary of his father's death. I'm putting together a story that'll air on that day, February 21st. But I just had to share a small portion of our conversation with you tonight. I asked him, when does he think about his father the most? He told me Sundays, because for 20 years, that was the day he would visit his father.
I've been traveling to Montreat for so many years on Sundays. All of a sudden it dawned on me he's not here. And I miss that drive to Montreat, knowing that I was going home and I'd see my father.
I had the opportunity to be his first local news interview since his father's passing. We talked about how Reverend Graham's death impacted their family and the void he feels now that his father is gone. I'll share more of our conversation over the coming weeks, so stay tuned.
All these students burst in. They didn't walk, they ran. And sat down at the counter and filled all the students.
A piece of Greensboro history. The man who used to bus tables at Woolworths recalls the spark that lit the civil rights movement.
A look at that historic moment through his eyes. Next.